Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV with the Rude Man. Now, it's been a good 3 years since I've made one of these recordings. What I did was I started by playing Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, and I got through that. And then I started the first expansion, which is Heaven's Ward. Now, this game's been out for about 12 years. I played it longer than that because I was an alpha tester on this game. But it came out as A Realm Reborn. The first expansion was called Heaven's Ward. The next expansion was called Stormblood. After that was Shadowbringers, and then Endwalker, and then Dawn Trail was the latest one that came out just this last year. So I've got, 12 going on 13 years in this game, and this is a game that I play every day. I've played this game every day since it came out in 2013. So it's unusual that I haven't actually ever recorded much of it. So there is a playlist of the very first game, which was A Realm Reborn. It's up to level 50 on the characters, and it's complete. Then I started Heaven's Ward. Now, interestingly about this game, the expansions take time to come out. So what they do is they have content that they put in that bridges between expansions and actually leads up to the story when the expansion comes out. So there's quite a bit of content in between the expansions. What I did was I did A Realm Reborn, and I started the bridge from A Realm Reborn to Heaven's Ward, and then I stopped recording. So I'm going to start again. But to get back in the swing of things after 3 years, I decided to do something that isn't the main quest line. It's something they added about halfway between A Realm Reborn and Heaven's Ward. And it's just a short, well, I shouldn't say it's short because they've continued it on with each expansion. But it's a story about a detective. And to get back in the swing of things, I decided to break from doing just main quest line play and to do this little side quest. And it starts right here with Wymond. And it's called The Rise and Fall of a Gentleman. I hear you've been busy as a bee. Seems half the whispers what come my way relate to your coming and going. Being the active type you are, I reckon you be interested in investigating some queer rumors. Am I right? But before that, let me ask. Ever heard of a man named Hildibrand? And no, I haven't. To hear him tell it, he was Erosia's greatest and most famous inspector. Still can't say I'm surprised you don't know him. To his credit, Hildibrand and his assistant had a knack for showing up when something shady was afoot. As for sussing out the culprits, well, he had his moments, though I hesitate to give him sole credit. Any road, 5 years ago, he gets in his head that he's cracked the code of Mazaia's 7th verse, Dalamud, the Calamity. All of it can be stopped, he says, so long as he finds the hero of prophecy. And wouldn't you know it, the hero was Hildibrand himself. So he flies off towards Dalamud. Aye, that's right, he flew, launches himself straight into the air somehow, ridiculous as it sounds. Of course, it's only logical that he's got to come back down, though it was only recently that we found his body. I had reason to bring this up. All right, so Nashu, Hildibrand's erstwhile assistant, has since become an inspector in her own right. At present, she's investigating the queer rumors I mentioned earlier. She's a sweet lass, a bit daft, but sweet nonetheless. So when I hear she's at wit's end, I want to help. Thing is, I prefer to meddle in the affairs of the living. Zombies are most definitely not my forte. So if you're willing, I'd be grateful if you lent her a hand. As for where to find her, she's like to visit Hildibrand's grave in the Lich Yard when she's frustrated. Try looking for her there. Okay, so this is going to get us started on this adventure. Now, what happens is, like I say, this is kind of a side quest, but it's a running side quest. So it gets updated in almost all the expansions. I think there was one expansion that it missed, but it's pretty much in all the expansions. So we're going to head to the Lich Yard and see if we can find his assistant. So this should get me back in the swing of things, and as soon as I do this up to Heavensward, this quest goes into Heavensward, which is where I left off 3 years ago. Then we'll continue on with the Heavensward expansion. If you're curious, like I said, there are playlists available for both A Realm Reborn, which is complete, and the start of Heavensward. And believe it or not, there's been quite a few changes in the game within the last 3 years. Quite a few. Graphics are better. There's all kinds of changes. Some of the we get additional jobs. Jobs have been changed. Now, I'm curious to find out what he means by zombies. What's that all about? There's Nashu. This must be Hildibrand's grave. Oh, if only you were still alive, Inspector. You'd know how to stop these zombies. Ah, you there. Could it be? You've come to offer your services to me? Oh, but where are my manners? Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Nashu, Agent of Inquiries, Extraordinary Inspector. At least that's what I'm trying to be. It's not quite as easy as he made it look. Inspector Hildibrand was a great man, a real Erosian hero. We traveled the world, me and him, solving cases and thwarting evil. No matter the mystery, you could always count on the inspector to solve it with grace and style. But then there was the final case. The case of the century, he called it. How to stop the Red Moon from destroying the world. To save us all, he flew into the sky, and all I could do was watch. But then he came back down, and he... This is all a joke. A big, funny joke. Right, Inspector? Anyhow now, you'll burst out of the ground and shout, "Surprise! Had you fooled, eh?" And we'll all laugh. Hildibrand Manderville, beloved son. They say, well, They say no one remembers the warriors of light, their names, their faces, all gone forever. But I remember you, Inspector. No gentleman hero Hildibrand. I can never be the hero you were, but I'll do my best and try. I, Nashu, Inspector Extraordinaire, will carry on your legacy. So I told myself, well, Nashu, there must be a leader, a head zombie, who tells the rest of them what to do. Therefore, all we need to do is kill him. Again, that is. Unfortunately, I don't know where he is or how to find him. But now that you're here, my faithful assistant, you can try the one good idea I've come up with so far. If you go to where those dapper zombies were last seen in southern Thanalan, you might find them. And then you could, you could become their friend and ask to meet their leader. Yeah, that's sure to work. Okay. Let's go see if we can find some zombies. All right, so if I'm not mistaken, this is where the fate is. We need to find a fate that involves zombies. And I don't see it going. So what we're going to do is we're just going to wait for it. All right, this is it. Sweet, that didn't take very long. All right, we're gonna have to sync our level. Okay, and then we just start attacking. Since there's just us, it's gonna take a while. Alright, fate's over. Okay, so we got to take the... we found a parchment, evidently. And we need to take it to Nashu. I'm assuming she's back at the Lich Yard. Did you find the zombies? Did you? That's wonderful. I've been busy, too. The head zombie will rue the day he meets me. You'll see. So, tell me, what did you learn? Oh, so you weren't able to make new friends. Well, that's a shame, but this parchment, this is a map of the Sangali Desert. There's a spot marked here in the south. And look, there's something written here. A gentleman is rather than does. That sort of reminds me of, well, no matter. Let's see where this map takes us, assistant. Onward to the Sangali. Well, we're heading right back where we just came from. There's Nashu. I don't think I misread the map. Maybe they're just shy. I say we call out to them and let them know that we've come in peace. And when the leader shows himself, we'll strike. A gentleman is rather than does. Let's go with that. Uh-oh. Ugh. Who summons the gentle dead men? They live, and we hunger. My brothers, lend me your ears. A gentleman does not dine upon his guests. Spare this fine gentleman and fair lady your mastications. Withdraw, I say, and harass them no more. Up in the sky, look, it's a bird. No, it's an airship. No, it's the inspector. We hear and we obey. Nice landing. It is you. It really is you. I knew nothing could kill the great Inspector Hildibrand. Hildibrand? Who is this Hildibrand of whom you speak? My name is Zombiebrand, devourer of brains, undead overlord extraordinaire. What are you saying? You're not an undead overlord. You're a gentleman inspector. Oh, man. Inspector, overlord, inspector, overlord. Oh, Inspector, you're just confused is all. Don't worry, I'll knock some sense back into that noggin of yours. Stay your hand, milady. You know not what you do. Even if I were the esteemed gentleman you purport me to be, the concussive force of the blast is more likely to liquefy my... If crashing into the ground made you forget, then an explosion of equal force ought to make you remember. I'll save you, Inspector, or I'll kill you trying. See, even you acknowledge the possibility that this plan will result in my... death! What the hell? How's he breathing? Normally, I would applaud your ingenuity, Nashu, but I would have preferred that you found a more elegant solution. Ah, he remembers me. Inspector Hildibrand remembers me. Yeah, I remember you, my faithful assistant. What I do not quite remember is how I came to be here. It was a dark and gloomy night, I guess. Ah, such a wonderful dream. I slew a dragon and... What is this place? For that matter, who am I? They think he's one of them. I, Hildibrand, agent of inquiry, inspector extraordinaire, have awoken at last. I always knew you'd come back to us. Be it Red Moon or Black Dragon, no fiend is a match for my legendary might. And who might this fine gentleman be? Could he perhaps be one of my many admirers? Oh, but what is this faint tingling sensation in my arm? This ringing in my ears? This dizziness? Could it be a case? Verily, it could be naught else. Somewhere nearby, dastardly doings are afoot, and only I can thwart them. Copious quantities of sand, unbearable heat, and oh, the Sogali Desert. I'd bet my life on it. Which means Ulda is but a short trek away. Yes, it all fits. Only that den of inequity could be so violently trigger my keen investigative sense. Fear not, law-abiding citizens. Inspector Hildibrand shall soon deliver you from evil. I guess we're going to Ulda. Back in the saddle. All right, let's follow our nose and see if we can find him. Aha, what's this? Question the residents of Ulda on the steps of Nald. Hello, is this Agnes? I beg your pardon. You wish to question me as the whereabouts of the deviant running about town dressed in rags? Do I look like a reporter from the Mithril Eye? I do not consort with perverts. Let's see, which way? This way? Aha. What? You're looking for a half-naked Highlander? What looks like to catch criminals? I think I'd remember a thing like that. If you do manage to find this inspector friend of yours, tell him to do something about that gosh darn duelist. Me mate's pa's cousin's kid's best friend lost his blade the other day to that bastard. So there is a crime going on. Or a crime wave. Sorry, lad, but if it's information you want, you'd be best served by going to Wymond. The only rumors I've heard of are those about the weapon thief. Calls himself a duelist or so I hear, but when you don't allow your opponents to refuse, well... So Wymond's the one that started us on this little quest. See if he's back at his little stand there. He likes to hang out right there in that, under that light. I take it you've dealt with that zombie problem? So, do tell, just why were the dressings up like dandies? I take it you've dealt with that zombie problem, eh? So, do tell, just why were they dressing up like dandies? Wymond! Hey, Wymond! Thal almighty booger me with a bleeding spear. The dead have risen, and they're walking the streets of Ulda. No need for melodrama, my good man. As you can see, reports of my death were greatly exaggerated. It's true. He's not a zombie. I checked. Ah, you do seem to be hale and healthy, which begs the question, how in the seven hells did you survive that fall? Why question divine providence? What matters is that Erosius Champion has returned, and that he, and by that I mean I, shall bring this thieving duelist to justice. Heard about that, huh? Might be harder than you think. Even I've got no inkling of that fellow's current whereabouts. Inconceivable. I refuse to believe that the ever inquisitive, ever ambitious, ever reliable Wyman is without a single shred of information, even one of dubious relevance. Well, I make no promises, mind you, but there was some talk of a fair maiden. What said her most? This knave assaulted a young woman as well? The audacity! I should fly to her side. Oh, why, if it isn't the gentleman from the Singali. A serendipitous encounter indeed, unless you too seek the belligerent duelist. Capital. It will be invigorating to engage in a friendly battle of wits. Already the spirit of competition fills me. Come, Nashu, we must away. Damn it, Hildy, I ain't told you the lass's name yet. Well, Kit. Well, you might as well go after him. He'll be disappointed if you don't. The lady in question is named Yellow Moon. She's a woman with a taste for the finer things in life. Safe to say, you'll find her getting fittin' for something in the Weavers' Guild most every day. Good luck with the inspecting, Inspector. Right, we're off to the Weavers' Guild. Yellow Moon, he said. Sounds like a Rodigan. My beloved pure heart was unlike any wand you've ever seen. Elegant, refined, the perfect accessory for any cultured woman. You will bring it back to me, won't you? A priceless possession callously ripped from the hands of its owner. And the lady weeps, and the wind bears her sorrow to his ears. What gentleman could hear this clarion call and not beg the honor of championing her cause? What in the world? I swear to you, here and now, I, Hildibrand, agent of inquiry, inspector extraordinaire, shall scour all creation from the deepest pit of the seven hells to the very pinnacle of the heavens for your pure heart. What he said. And you, my fellow servant of justice, I see your instincts are not to be underestimated, having guided you to this fair maiden's side. Now then, Miss Moon, what can you tell us of the theft? Thefts, sir, to be precise. My pure heart was only the most recent item to be taken from me. I'm certain I had it when I left home the other day, after I browsed the latest fashions of sunsilk and took in a match at the Colosseum. I realized it was gone. So the time and location of the theft are unknown, essential details, without which we cannot solve the case. There is but one logical course of action, Miss Moon, to coax the hidden clues from your memories. We must reenact that fateful day's excursion to sunsilk tapestries. Okay. Miss Moon, would you be so kind as to describe your visit in detail on the day in question? Nothing unusual happened, but if you insist, I was pondering whether or not to purchase a new dress when a man approached me and confessed his undying love. What sort of man says that to a complete stranger, I ask you? Naturally, I was taken aback. I dropped my purse in shock, not intentionally, on his foot, and he cried out in pain and fled. If I may be so bold, Miss Moon, that strikes me as a most unusual happening. In any case, it appears to be completely unrelated to the theft. Let us next proceed to the Colosseum and see what you remember. Once again, Miss Moon, if you would be so kind to tell us what you remember. Well, like before, nothing unusual happened. I felt like gambling that day and was debating which match to observe when a gladiator approached me from behind and confessed his undying love. Naturally, I was taken aback. I whirled about and struck the man in the face with my purse. In shock, not intentionally. Unfortunately, since I was carrying a tremendous sum of money, my purse weighed about 60 pounds, and the blow was enough to render him unconscious. 120 pounds? Miss Moon, you are a remarkably strong woman. Which is precisely why you were targeted. Oh, it's so obvious. In hindsight, the thief bore you a grudge. No, it's more than that. He hated you with a passion. There sure is a lot of giant crates in Ulda, at the Weavers Guild, at Sunsilk Tapestries, and now here. What's up, Nashu? These crates are everywhere, Kit. These crates are everywhere. I wonder what's inside, but I don't see how we can open. Ah, of course. I still have plenty of explosives. Here, why don't you try? It'll be fun. Aha, what's this? At the heart of every crime rests a single, unassailable truth, reached only by the navigation a web of falsehoods and contradictions. Hearken to me now, for as a shepherd leads his flock, I shall guide you to my irrefutable conclusion. A gladiator professes his feelings only to be rejected and physically assaulted in response, wounding his pride as a warrior and a man. Resenting her prowess whilst recognizing his weakness, he carries out a more feasible vengeance. He robs Yellow Moon of her weapon, the pure heart. Inspector, we found the pure heart. These strange men sneaking around town in the wooden crate had it. It's not what you think. We're not thieves. We're devotees. Yellow Moon is our sun and stars. We only wish to keep her safe from harm. And should she misplace an item from time to time, we'd collect it for safekeeping. Nothing untoward. You deviants were behind all the thefts all this time. You've been stalking me. What nerve? Oh, such unbridled fury, such righteous indignation. We should be glad to accept the goddess's punishment. And they're off. Goddess? Devotees? Oh, but of course, that had you... Goddess? Devotees? Oh, but of course, That I had you inspect those crates was a stroke of genius indeed. As I was elucidating but a moment ago, these fiends are obviously the ones responsible for the recent rash of weapon thefts, as those thefts were carried out by a single individual, you imbecile. Lest you've forgotten, the culprit is a duelist. He only claims his victims' weapons after defeating them in single combat. And your powers of observation are as great as you claim. You should have deduced that those buffoons in boxes were incapable of such. I should know. I'm a reporter for the Mithril Eye. My name is Ellie, and I've been investigating these incidents for weeks. Inspector Hildibrand, gentleman investigator and agent of inquiry, I presume. You're looking well for a dead man. Would you like to meet one of the duelist's victims? I'll introduce you with pleasure. You would be willing to share such precious information with me? Your generosity is commendable, Miss Ellie. May this mark the beginning of a long and beautiful friendship. Oh, yeah, very good. The name is... Huh? Where in the bloody hells do you think you're going? I haven't even told you anything yet. I think I'm going to end it here. It may be a little bit short, but it's been 3 years, like I said, and it's going to take me a while to get back in the swing of things. So when we come back, we'll talk to Ellie, and she'll give us that clue that Hildibrand didn't get, and we'll carry on from there. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ta for now.